A rapper surgically implanted a $24 million diamond in his forehead and lost it at a concert. Another imported ocean water for his pool. One hired a professional blunt roller for $50,000 a year. And the craziest? A $100 million theme park you can't even ride. These are the most insane things rappers have ever bought. And some will make you question if money actually buys common sense. Like Lil Uzi Vert, who looked at a $24 million pink diamond and thought, you know where this belongs? In my forehead. Yeah, you heard that right. In 2021, Uzi had an 11-carat naturally pink diamond surgically implanted right in the center of his forehead. And get this, he'd been paying for it since 2017. 4 years of installment payments just to turn himself into a human jewelry store. But here's where it gets crazy. Uzi said he implanted it because he was afraid he would lose it if it was on a ring. I'm Lil Uzi. I'm turned up. So $24 million on a ring is the stupidest idea because I'm going to look down and that ring ain't going to be there. Fair point. Except now you got a diamond jutting out of your skull. And his logic completely backfired anyway. Because in 2021 at Rolling Loud Miami, he jumped into the crowd and a fan literally ripped it right off his face. Imagine paying more than most people earn in 500 lifetimes just to have it snatched at a concert. That's gotta hurt more than the piercing itself. And that's not even the dumbest purchase. One rapper literally bought water because in 2009, DJ Khaled decided his pool needed an upgrade. So he imported water from the Bahamas to fill it up. Not pool cleaning chemicals, not a fancy filtration system, literally ocean water shipped from the Bahamas to Miami. He's mentioned it several times over the years, like it's his proudest achievement. Nobody else has Bahamas water in their pool. Yeah, DJ, there's a reason for that. It's called a hose, and it's free. Comment below if you think DJ Khaled's next move is bottling his pool water and selling it. But this is the same guy who refuses to go down on women because I'm a king. So we really shouldn't expect normal decision-making. You think that's wasteful? One rapper spent more on his face than most people spend on a house. Rick Ross looked in the mirror one day and decided, I need a $1.5 million chain on my face. And not just any face chain. First, he got a $50,000 pendant of himself with sunglasses and diamond grills. Then, after that became a meme, Ross said, hold my Luc Belair, and commissioned a $1.5 million chain of himself wearing the chain of himself. Chainception. The pendant is covered in pure yellow diamonds at $3,000 to $5,000 per carat, and it's been the most expensive chain in hip-hop since 2010. That's enough money to buy 15 houses in some states. Nothing says, I love myself, quite like wearing your own face around your neck twice. I mean, would you wear a chain of your face? Be honest, comment below. Plot twist. Drake spent $100 million on rides you can't even ride. Not building a theme park, buying one that already existed. In 2022, Drake and his entertainment company, Dream Crew, purchased Luna Luna, an art amusement park from 1987 that featured rides designed by Jean-Michel Basquiat, Keith Haring, Salvador Dali, and David Hockney. The rides had been sitting in Texas shipping containers for over 30 years, and Drake spent $100 million to resurrect them in Los Angeles. The kicker? Most of these rides don't even work anymore. They're just art installations now. So Drake spent more than some countries' GDP on a carnival you can't actually ride. That's like buying a Ferrari and parking it in your living room as a coffee table. But hey, at least he can say he owns a Basquiat roller coaster, right? But here's the purchase that actually makes sense. Snoop Dogg employs a full-time professional blunt roller on salary. That's right. Someone's actual job title is PBR. Professional blunt roller. The position originally paid between $40,000 and $50,000 a year. But in 2022, Snoop gave them a raise due to inflation. They now make over $50,000 annually. Along with the salary, they get free weed, all expenses paid travel, and free merchandise whenever companies send Snoop stuff. And considering Snoop claimed in 2012 that he smokes 81 blunts per day, this person is definitely earning their paycheck. That's a blunt every 18 minutes if he's awake 24 hours. The employee's timing is reportedly impeccable, showing up with a freshly rolled blunt exactly when Snoop needs one. Now that's what I call job security in the gig economy. But the smartest purchase? Try the dumbest. You won't believe this one. Actually, you know what? Let me ask you something first. If you just made your first $1,000,000, what's the first dumb thing you'd buy? Like, be honest, a car, jewelry, a pet tiger? Comment below before we continue. I'm genuinely curious. All right, back to the madness. Kanye West spent $350,000 on a dining table. Actually, it wasn't a table itself. Kanye reportedly spent over $350,000 commissioning an exact replica of Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel ceiling artwork to be painted on his dining room table. Imagine sitting down to eat your Wheaties off the creation of Adam. Pass the syrup. Just hits different when God's finger's pointing at your pancakes. And knowing Kanye, he probably insisted on being painted into the scene somewhere. That's enough money to feed a small country for a year. He spent it on breakfast aesthetics. Think that's ridiculous? Wait till you hear about one spent on hair. Nicki Minaj reportedly spent $75,000 on a luxury weave in 2014. $75,000 for hair that's not even permanently attached to your head. To put that in perspective, the average American household income that year was about $53,000. Nicki spent more on one hair extension than most families earned in an entire year. That's more than a brand new Mercedes for hair. And here's the funny part. In 2017, a wig company tried to sell Nicki Minaj-inspired wigs for $3,850 without her permission. And she hilariously called them out on Instagram. Charging $4 for a Nicki wig? Can I get a small consultant fee? If companies are selling wigs inspired by her look for $4,000, suddenly, that $75,000 investment makes a little more sense. Still absolutely bonkers, but at least there's ROI. But the craziest purchase? Travis Scott copped himself a private jet for his 29th birthday in 2021 he dubbed Cactus Jack Airlines. The plane reportedly cost more than Kylie Jenner's $70 million jet, which means we're talking at least $75 million for a flying billboard. And before you think, well, at least he owns it outright, remember that private jets have insane maintenance costs. Fuel, crew, hangar fees, insurance. Owning a $75 million jet means spending millions more every year just to keep it in the sky. That's more expensive than most people's mortgage, car payment, and student loans combined per flight. Okay, real talk. If you had $75 million, would you buy a jet or 15 mansions? I'm genuinely curious. Drop your answer below. You know what's crazy though? Here's a stat that'll blow your mind. Ready? Quick money lesson. Rappers who buy private jets go broke 73% faster than those who rent. Why? A $75 million jet costs $4 to $5 million per year just to keep running. That's $400,000 a month just sitting in a hangar. This is why financial advisors literally beg celebrities not to buy jets. But hey, when you're making Travis Scott money, who's listening to advisors, am I right? And here's the most baller thing I've ever heard. Mike Tyson bought a $2 million gold bathtub. Not gold-plated, solid gold. 24 karat. He had it custom made for his first wife, Robin Givens, as a gift. The tub weighs over 1,800 pounds and required reinforced flooring just to hold it. Imagine taking a bath and knowing you're sitting in more money than most people make in their entire life. And here's the kicker. After they divorced a year later, Robin kept the tub. So Tyson spent $2 million on a tub for a marriage that lasted 12 months. That's $166,666 per month of marriage. Talk about expensive divorce settlements. So there you have it. From a $24 million diamond ripped off at a concert to water imported from the Bahamas to a six-figure blunt roller to a $100 million theme park you can't ride. And here's what's wild. These rappers are living proof that money doesn't change who you are, it just amplifies it. Uzi was always impulsive, so he got a forehead diamond. Ross always loved himself, so he got 2 face chains. Snoop was always a perfectionist, so he hired a professional roller. DJ Khaled was always extra, so he imported ocean water. Money just gave him permission to go full send on their personality, which, honestly, kind of inspiring in the most ridiculous way possible. So, which purchase do you think was the absolute dumbest? The $24 million forehead diamond that got ripped off? The Bahamas pool water? The $2 million bathtub for a 1-year marriage? Or the $100 million theme park you can't even ride? Drop your vote in the comments and tell me why. Explain your reasoning. I'm reading every single one, and the best answer gets pinned. And if you enjoyed this, hit that like button, because apparently I spent way too much time researching how rappers waste money. Subscribe for more ridiculous content like this. Trust me, we're just getting started.